पहला क्या किस चीज पे सुनवाई है, कितने बजे सुनवाई है, क्या ये मेंटेनेबिलिटी पर ही सुनवाई है शुरुआत?
देखिए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो आदेश दिया उस पर कहा है मेंटेनेबिलिटी का इशू प्रायोरिटी पे सुना जाएगा, पर जो मेंटेनेबिलिटी है उसको डिसाइड करने के लिए बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट इश्यूज हैं जिसको ध्यान में रखना है। सबसे पहले जो कमीशन की रिपोर्ट आई है वो कोर्ट के रिकॉर्ड पे है, उस पर मुस्लिम पक्ष से ऑब्जेक्शन दिया गया है। तो पहले मुस्लिम पक्ष ये बताए कि उन्हें कमीशन की रिपोर्ट पे कोई ऑब्जेक्शन है कि नहीं है। दूसरी बात, इस पूरे केस का अगर आप ये कह रहे हैं प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट की वजह से ये केस बार्ड है, तो उसमें जो धार्मिक स्वरूप का हमारा आर्गुमेंट है उस धार्मिक स्वरूप को डिसाइड करने के लिए कमीशन की रिपोर्ट भी अप्रिशिएट करनी पड़ेगी और उसके बाद ही ये डिसाइड हो पाएगा कि केस मेंटेनेबल है कि नहीं है।
देखिए, वो तो लीक हुई है तो बहुत ही खराब बात है। वो कहा जाए कि जो कानून का जो मंशा है उसके बिल्कुल खिलाफ, जो कानून की जो कहा जाए सीक्रेसी है, ये सीक्रेट बात होती है कि क्या देखा गया क्या नहीं देखा गया। हम लोग खुद इसके लिए परेशान है कैसे हुआ, किसने किया, जो किया है उसको उसके लिए दंडित किया जाना चाहिए।
We already seeing the debate on Gyanvapi. So Irfan Habib Saab, what history says, regardless what the claims being made be from the Hindu side or the Muslim side, when it comes to Gyanvapi temple, when there is talk about excavation, to when people are surveying it, now the matter has gone to the judiciary.
You see, my problem is the claims which are being made today, that this is something which has come out for the first time. And people today have actually brought this out for the world. No, this is untruth, because the whole thing is documented. You can find all the records available. Everybody knows that there were so many temples which were demolished. Mosques were created. Gyanvapi is also one of them. What were the?
There is no dispute about.
There's no dispute because it's all written over there. That particular period talks about it. Farmans are there, talk about it.
All right, cutting across to Abhishek Mishra on that. Abhishek, of course, there is no doubt that there was a Hindu temple that stood below the Gyanvapi Mosque. But this was centuries ago. At this point, to seek Hindu lost heritage, to try and reclaim it, and the demands only growing to survey the mosque extensively and allow for Hindus to worship along those areas. This, of course, is now becoming more of a campaign among Hindu groups across the nation. It's not just restricted to Gyanvapi. We are seeing similar demands now erupting in Karnataka's Mangaluru over another mosque, and this is the kind of large-scale effect that it could have, and therefore the court will certainly look at this a decision on this issue very closely and very carefully. How are you? What kind of reactions are you looking at from the Muslim side? We've heard extensively on the Hindu side. On the Muslim side, they've been constantly calling this survey itself, in the first place, as illegal.
Well, certainly, Nabila, and in this whole case, we have heard, from the beginning itself, our Muslim side has not been very much vocal about it. Although they have been maintaining the fact that, the Shivalinga, which was claimed by the Hindu side, is indeed a fountain. Earlier, they had the stance that this survey should not be done. Actually, they went to the Supreme Court. They were trying to file a petition, but due to technical things, they were not able to do it. But when the whole case was heard in the Supreme Court and the petition was filed, they even had an argument and a demand that the survey and the whole of the situation of this survey is concerned should be kept on hold. This is what they were demanding. But when the court took the cognizance of it, they heard both the sides, and they instructed, as far as this whole case is concerned, to transfer the case from civil court to the district magistrate. A more experienced judge is required, which this is what has been said, and they released an order on 17th of May saying that the Shivalinga should be protected, that the namazis should be allowed, and at the same time the preparations and arrangement for the Waju should also be made by the local administration. So the kind of balance act the Supreme Court has played, and now it all depends on the district judge to take this matter into consideration and all those points. And it is not just about one particular place. As you have just said, all these petitions are now coming. There is a case, there has been a lot of talk about, the case which is in discussion as far as Mathura is concerned on the Krishna Janmabhoomi. And at the same time, in Jaunpur also, there is one more case which has come where a mosque is within the Devi temple. So all these things are now coming one by one, and the Supreme Court has also maintained the fact that it is a sensitive case and it needs to be taken by a judge of the district level, and that is the only reason that today, when the hearing which has begun already, The first thing primarily is about the maintainability of the suit, which the Muslim side is constantly saying it's a violation of the 1991 Religious Peace Act, and the Hindu side, which they are saying that the property is more than 100 years old, and there is no reference to it as far as whether this act, should be implementable or should be, will have some effects on it. So that is the one thing. And indeed, with this whole survey being conducted and then transferring of this case has given a lot of attention, not only politically as well, but as far as this whole proceedings are concerned, judge, when he's sitting there, he's going to have a look at both the sides and are going to take that important decision. And it remains to be seen whether he will give another date or he will go ahead with the process with the hearing, because a lot of things needs to be answered. There are other petitions as well, but first of all, it is all about the maintainability of the suit, which needs to be decided. Yes.
Well, here as we see that the court readies to take up the matter, we also saw how the area where the Wazukhana has been completely cordoned off, because they claim that was a shivling found, and the Supreme Court ordered for that alleged shivling to be protected, and there's CRPF protection around it, barricading around it. And we heard that the Muslim side had quite a difficult time to carry out their wuzu. Many of them were doing wuzu from home and coming to pray at the mosque. Now, do we know if that Wazukhana or an alternative to do the wuzu for the Muslims has been set up within that mosque premises? Has that been done seamlessly? Is there any obstruction to the mosque namaz itself?
Well, certainly, Nabila, the arrangements have been made by the local administration as far as wuzu is concerned. Namaz has also been allowed, but not in massive numbers, because we see last time on the Fridays, during the Friday prayers, a lot of all these namazis were reaching there, and the committee had to make the announcement that there shouldn't be a crowd as far as namazis are concerned. So that has been made, but one thing which is very relevant here, that the Muslim side has been saying constantly that this is a place for namaz, and that should be given, all these people who are coming there should be given authority to do it. But with the survey which was conducted, and then the report which has been filed, and now when the district court judge is hearing this matter, it's a major point about as far as the maintainability here, one, and two, all these claims, whether the Hindu side, which is speaking in terms of the report which has been filed, they are constantly saying that the report clearly says that there are markings, there are significant Hindu signs as far as swastikas is concerned, the lotus sign, the Trishul sign, and all these things. And as far as that shivling which has been claimed by the Hindu side, that it is indeed actually a shivling. But the Muslim side, on the other hand, saying that the shivling is always in the basement, always on the ground level. How can it be on the first floor, which is the Wazukhana? So all these things have come into the consideration. And today, we would like to tell you that the hearing has begun. It is an update. The hearing has begun in the courtroom of the district by the district court judge. And all these important developments will be taken into consideration while hearing, as far as this whole case is concerned. Yes.
All right. This also, as we know that the survey did not come without its fair share of trouble, Abhishek. We know that the survey committee commissioner, there was a lot of speculation, especially raised by the Muslim side, saying that he was biased, that he wasn't fair, etc. And then you had the court still allowing him to carry out that survey. And once the survey was completed, there was a lot of information that was leaked. People extensively had images of what the survey had found, etc., which was ideally supposed to be highly confidential. But now the court, Varanasi court, the civil court further went on to dismiss that commissioner of the survey committee and appointed another one. The other two who were part of that committee continued with their survey. So the number of troubles that the survey committee itself went through to actually carry out that much anticipated survey is certainly something that sheds a lot more interest in this entire story.
Well, certainly, and all these developments are clearly signifying the, the sensitivity of the matter. When the survey began on the 8th and 9th of May, when only Court Commissioner Ajay Mishra was heading this survey, he was not able to go inside the premises. There was a protest, and the pictures came in where the Muslim, people who were there to perform the namaz, they were sitting just outside the gate and, protesting against him. They were demand to remove him, but the court back then maintained the fact that it will continue, and as a court commissioner, Ajay Mishra will proceed further. But although he got two other associates, Vishal Singh and Ajay Pratap Singh, as the assistant court commissioner. So that all began on afterwards. Again, 3-day survey went for a while, and it took a lot of time. Every aspect, every minute detail was recorded. When we spoke to the court commissioner, he said there is a very, very big report as far as documents are concerned. Many more photographs, uncountable photographs. So all these things and the videography, hours of videography, which was submitted in the court. But the turning point came when the other court commissioner, Vishal Singh, himself filed the application saying that the court commissioner, Ajay Mishra, did not, supported as well as this whole thing is concerned. And then, as per that application, court took the cognizance of it. And then it was said that, Ajay Mishra will not be submitting his report. He will not be heading this survey. And then whole controversy erupted between both the court commissioners. So that is also one more thing which also, tell us about the sensitivity of this whole issue, because the photograph leaked out, the information which was again given to us not in the public domain as far as the survey is conducted, and the court said that the court commissioner was not able to maintain the secrecy, and all those things were said. Although court commissioner Ajay Mishra later came and he said that he has done his best, nothing of that sort, he has been targeted, all those things came. But finally, when this report was submitted in the court by Vishal Singh and the assistant court commissioner Ajay Pratap Singh, it clearly signifies the relevance and the references which was claimed by the Hindu petitioners, and that majorly become a part for the Muslim side when they went into the Supreme Court and they asked to have a hold on this whole survey and asking whether it is indeed a valid act or not. So that's why today, when the hearing is going on, and we'll get to know about the updates in a while, what has been the proceedings. So the maintainability suit again and again, which is coming in the focus, is all about it. If that particular suit is accepted, and all this survey and all this report and all this development which has been done so far will definitely be under the questioning. But as far as the Hindu side is concerned, they're very optimistic that they have the substantial evidences, and the survey report which has been already put up at the court will get into their favor. So all eyes on the district court now, on the judge, what decision he will take and how this all proceedings are going to go forward. Yes.
All right. So, a little more clarity on the kind of symbolism that's the survey committee has found within that mosque complex. If you can give us some insight into that. But before that, like Abhishek did mention, the hearing at on the Gyanvapi controversy has just begun at the district court. The district judge, a more senior panel as compared to the civil court, will now be taking up the matter of maintainability, whether this plea itself that the Hindu side has filed asking to worship at the Gyanvapi Mosque complex at the back part, or rather the wall behind the Gyanvapi Mosque, which they claim has much Hindu religious significance, whether this plea itself in court can be entertained or not, considering there's already a Places of Worship Act of 1991 that says any religious place must maintain its religious character, anything that stood after independence 1947. So the Muslim side saying that the plea itself filed by the Hindu side is illegal. Now the Supreme Court, who had already intervened, saying that this matter will be taken up by the district judge, considering he will be a senior, it will be almost a senior panel who will be looking into matter like this that has great sensitivity. The senior judge will now decide whether this case itself is maintainable in the court of law or not. So the hearing has just begun. We hear that the hearing has now started. All the points that will be discussed is all decided at the The district judge will be, of course, deciding on what points to be discussed first. Whether the maintainability issue stands, this will be taken up by the district judge. He will be starting with the maintainability issue, is what we understand. Now, while the hearing begins, former Commissioner Ajay Mishra has not been allowed to go inside court. This is also the information that we get right from the court premises. The commissioner who carried out that survey, Ajay Mishra, has not been allowed to enter the court premises. His name wasn't on the list. Senior advocate Man Singh is now leading the Hindu side. Like Abhishek just mentioned, there was a fair share of controversy even while the survey was carried out. The former commissioner Ajay Mishra, who the Muslim side had deemed biased, we believe, has not been allowed to enter the court premises now because he was already dismissed by the Varanasi court. He was, in fact, suspended as the survey committee commissioner after allegations of him leaking images and survey findings to the public there came to light. And now we hear that Ajay Mishra, that former commissioner, is not being allowed inside court premises. So Abhishek who's right there tracking all those developments. Abhishek, now all eyes on the district judge on what the judge would pronounce when it comes to maintainability of this case entirely. That said, give us the points that the court might touch upon first. Will it first look at the maintainability issue and only then get into the layers of the survey that was carried out? All the survey findings is now before court, and we know extensively what the survey says. Those visuals are there to corroborate that survey findings right here on our television on India Today, where we have seen, as part of the survey, extensive Hindu symbols that were found on the walls, carvings on the walls of the basement of that mosque there, showing very much of what exactly the petitioners said. The 5 women petitioners who claim that this was a temple which was desecrated to build a mosque upon. There is Hindu symbols inside that mosque, and that needs to be surveyed. And that survey seemed to have managed to find those kind of Hindu symbols.
Well, certainly, Nabila, and today, when during this hearing, the district court judge will certainly be first looking at the maintainability suit, because it's all about the maintainability of this case and whether it has a stance as far as, this whole case is concerned. And we have to think about one more thing as well. This whole controversy or this whole case began with these 5 women filing petition to get the permission to access to the Shringar Gauri temple. So that was the one thing. They were asking that darshanas should be made available. They should be allowed to perform the puja. So then it becomes about whether there is a temple or not, whether Shringar Gauri, the goddess, existed or not. So all these things they demanded for a survey, and this part of survey, when it was conducted for 3 days, this Shivalinga, which has been claimed now by the Hindu side, was actually not indeed an intention. Basically, the petition was about the Shringar Gauri temple and the access to the temple to these 5 petitioners. But when the court conducted this survey, as far as, that temple is concerned, and whether it is a part of the Kashi Vishwanath temple or not, that was the major reason behind this survey. The survey, the findings which have been found in the survey, be it the signatures, the marking, the sculptures, all these things which were found, that is one thing which the Hindu side again claimed that there are the signatures and the marking which are beyond expectation, and they were quite content about it. On the other hand, Muslim side throughout the survey has always maintained that nothing of that sort is happening, just they are cooperating, let the court commissioner file the report and things will be clear. But when the court commissioner, the former court commissioner Ajay Mishra, when he was removed and it was said that he was not cooperating as far as the survey is concerned, Vishal Singh said there was this fountain which was found there, which has been said as a Shivalinga by the Hindu side. There was, there was some water in the premises which needs to be removed. So all these things, which was something signifying that the court commissioner was actually not taking things, seriously. And again, the claim which was made that he was leaking the information and the involvement of the photographer and all those things. So that is also another thing. But importantly, today, when we have just got the update that Ajay Mishra wasn't allowed in the premises, the court had already made a list of people who would be allowed. The 23 is the number, that much of people are allowed there. One side, the Hindu side and the Muslim side. And today, one more important thing, Nabila, that court, the district court judge is not listening any other petition today.
Yeah.
He has transferred all the bail petitions to the anti-corruption court number 3.
Right.
So all these petitions have been transferred there. That means he's going to take time. He's going to listen to the arguments. He's going to listen to
it
have a
appears
look
his
at the
prime
report.
focus
And
is
then
the
only-
Gyanvapi plea made by the 5 women from the Hindu side asking to worship at the Gyanvapi complex. Now, the maintainability of this suit, of course, will be decided today by the district judge. The debate over what the survey has really found inside the Gyanvapi Mosque does not seem or cease to die down. India Today exclusively seeks the photographer of the survey team as it speaks to that videographer. Gyanvapi Mosque survey was carried out by this man called Ganesh Sharma. He narrates all the findings during the most controversial survey, tells us what he's found. Let's have a listen.
Amid surveys, claims of multiple Shivlings, and Nandi, Sheshnag, Trishul and Damru surfacing. Here is exclusive eyewitness account from someone at forefront of the mosque survey on the secrets buried in the mosque and its basement. Meet Ganesh Sharma, the 23-year-old cameraman, part of 2 back-to-back surveys as videographer. He speaks on the truth of Shivling, calling it a black shiny stone, submerged in water since ages, but yet to lose its luster, and resembles a similar stone inside Kashi Vishwanath temple.
वो जो वहाँ पे मिली है, आकृति मिली है, वो पानी में पूरा जो कुआं है वह भी करीब 6 इंच से ज्यादा डूबा हुआ था. बाहर से वो दिख नहीं रहा था कि वो कुआं भी है. मुझे उस दिन उम्मीद ही नहीं थी कि वहाँ पे कुछ मिलेगा, क्योंकि वो पानी में पूरा डूबा हुआ था. और जब पानी में कोई चीज इतनी डूबी हुई है तो वो फव्वारा तो कभी थ्रो ही नहीं कर सकती.
So what else did the survey teams encounter during the high-profile surveys?
एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण और अजीब चीज, जो मस्जिद का मुख्य गुंबद है, 3 गुंबद है वहाँ पर, जो मेन गुंबद है, बड़ा गुंबद है, उसमें मुझे एक पत्थर दिखाई पड़ा जो मंदिरों में लगने वाला पत्थर है, जिसमें 3 तरफ कलाकृतियां बनी हैं. यह रिपोर्ट में तो है पर मीडिया में चर्चा का विषय नहीं है.
मैं आपको एक प्रमाण दिखा रहा हूँ. ये है 154 साल, ये प्राचीन है. अब ये 2022 है, ये 2022 है. ये देखिए यहाँ पे पूरा वो था.
The Mahant of Kashi temple showed old images claiming that underground chambers of Gyanvapi complex had Shivlings.
बाबा विश्वनाथ जी का शिवलिंग, विश्वनाथ का शिवलिंग है. उसकी मैं पूजा पाठ, उनका राग भोग स्नान, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ नियम है कि बाबा अगर हैं तो उनका जो है दैनिक जो है स्नान ध्यान पूजन पाठ करा, ये महंत का दायित्व और व्यवस्था करना मेरा धर्म है, और उसको जो है लागू करने की मेरी जिम्मेदारी है. और भक्तों को खोलने की परमिशन अभी नहीं मांग रहा हूँ, क्योंकि भक्तगण जब खुलेंगे, जब पूरा विवाद खत्म हुआ. लेकिन मैं ये दावा के साथ कर सकता हूँ, वहाँ पर शिवलिंग है नीचे, और नीचे के शिवलिंग का जो पूजा पाठ जो सन 92 से बंद है, उसको जो मैं चालू जो पहले चलता रहा, उसको मैं पुनः लागू करने के लिए याचिका दाखिल कर रहा हूँ.
The Hindu side has been saying that the 352-year-old Gyanvapi truth is finally out. The Muslim side gives its own version of the stone structure, calling it a fountain.
जो आदि ज्योतिर्लिंग है, जो लाखों साल पहले भगवान शिव ने यहाँ काशी नगरी बसाई थी, ये वही जगह है जहाँ 5 करोड़ का अमुक्त एरिया डिक्लेयर किया था, बनाया था. और आपको ताजुब होगा कि जो गुम्बद तीनों बने हैं, ये गुम्बद के नीचे ओरिजिनल हिंदू गुम्बद है.
यह शिवलिंग में क्या क्या चीजें होती है हर हिंदू जानता है. और वो फुवारा है, फुवारा कटा हुआ होता है, उसमें निशान 5 खांचे बने हुए जिस पर फुवारा रख के फुवारा चलाया जाता है.
Will the court hearing settle the age-old debate? With Abhishek Mishra and Kumar Abhishek in Varanasi, Bureau Report, India Today.